Next story here is about Apple. So what we're going to do first is actually go back to the chart. Take a look at Apple. This stock has been awesome. Big time shout out again to Tenzin, who has done an absolutely fantastic job trading this. The last time that we talked about this as a group communal trade was a breakout from the 215 area. We had 233 identified as a major upside target. It actually took a couple of weeks to get through that. Once it did, it kept running. And you can see that this has actually ran up to the trend line, a long-term trend line that originates and in January, it looks like January 4th of 2023. So we have a long-term trend line here. It looks like Apple's going to test this. The other thing is it looks like we set a new all-time high here for Apple. Would love to see if this has got enough to maybe break out above that and give us more of a run here. And I'll tell you, I know we talked about this story a little bit earlier. We talked about this with David Green yesterday. This is one that Cramer absolutely got right. Apple is definitely one of those stocks, probably best to just sit and own it as opposed to trading it. If you absolutely must trade it, trading around the core position really seems to be the best idea. Stock pays a dividend, got a great balance sheet, extremely strong company. I know there's a lot of back and forth with Tim Cook and how good is he and all of that, but the stock performance doesn't lie. This thing's been an absolute monster. Absolute monster. Here's the story for this. Apple has started shipping American-made servers from its Houston facility earlier than planned, which aligns with President Trump's push to expand U.S. manufacturing. On Thursday, Apple CEO Tim Cook announced on X that the company's American-made advanced servers are now shipping from our new Houston facility to Apple data centers. Quote, these servers will help power private cloud compute and Apple Intelligence as part of our $600 billion U.S. commitment. For anyone that wants to go through Tim Cook's tweet thread, they're all included here in the story. I'll drop that here in the chat for you guys. You can go through that on your own time. Originally slated to open in 2026, Apple's 250,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Houston is now ahead of schedule. The move follows Trump's intensified efforts to bring high-tech production back to U.S. soil. I'm old enough to remember when people said that was impossible. LOL. Trump has been pushing Apple to assemble its iPhones in the U.S. However, Cook has maintained that full-scale iPhone assembly would remain overseas, at least for now. Even as Apple accelerates its U.S. production, China remains a key growth market. Earlier this month, Cook traveled to China, pledging to increase investment in the country. During his visit, he met with Li Liqiang, China's Ministry of Industry and Information Technology, who promised to create a favorable environment for global tech firms like Apple. China remains a critical market for Apple, functioning as both a major manufacturing base and contributing roughly 17% to the company's annual revenue. According to Counterpoint Research, Apple's iPhone 17 series has outperformed the iPhone 16 lineup by 14% in the first 10 days of sales across China and the US. The base model has been a standout driver, with sales nearly doubling in China thanks to upgraded features and competitive pricing. Now, I've got another story here about Apple that I want to go to. I kind of want to link them together here. This is about the iPhone Air production cut. So we just talked about the base model there. We had got a story, I think this was a couple weeks ago by now. We got a story that the Pro Max, I think it is, forgive me because I use an Android device and I might not be getting the lingo exactly right, but I believe it was the iPhone 17 Pro Max, which has the highest margins, actually saw the greatest demand. That would be really good for the stock price when the report comes around. We'll see how that all shakes out. But in any case here, there's weak demand for the iPhone Air outside of China. Production orders for the iPhone Air have been cut nearly to end of production levels, despite it only being available in China last week due to weak demand in other markets. This was reported by the Nikkei Asia. The iPhone Air was initially expected to represent 10 to 15% of new iPhone production this year, but the production orders from November onward will drop to less than 10% of September's volume, according to the report. The model is seen as strategically paving the way for the first foldable iPhone. I still don't get this one. The foldable phone is not for me. Give me the powerful phone in this form factor, whatever it may be, and whatever brand it may be, and that's the one that I want. Palantir Queen here says, just bought the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Palantir Queen, give it to me. Do you like it? Is it what model are you coming from? Is it a noticeable step up from what you came from? Are you happy with your purchase overall? Do you have buyer's regret? I know for me, I can't even recall the last time that I bought a new phone. I mean, going all the way back to even like the BlackBerry days, I can't even recall a time where I bought a new phone where I wasn't like, this is a major step up from the previous one. I know as we've got to some of these recent models, a lot of people say, well, just the camera's a little bit better, but nothing's really different. Not been my experience with Android, which has way more of a customizable system. But again, I'm kind of in the minority there, as it really does seem like most people still use iPhones. Palantir Queen answering the question. I appreciate you. The camera is amazing. I came from the 15 Pro Max and I am happy with it. Boy, you hit all of that there. That's great. And you know what? You are on the same update cycle I am. I don't update my phone every year. Rather, I update it every other year. And I have very similar, reaction to the new purchase as you just described. It's pretty much the same every time I do that. Sorry for digressing there. The demand for the iPhone 17 and the iPhone 17 Pro has surpassed expectations. So again, it's only this iPhone Air model that this story applies to. This leads Apple to boost production order for these models as per Nikkei. Despite the ongoing tariff war and slow smartphone market, Apple plans to keep its iPhone 17 production forecast unchanged at 85 to 90 million units. Apple did not immediately respond. I don't know if they are going to respond to this one, to be quite honest with you. The iPhone 17 models have outsold the iPhone 16 models by 14% in the US and China during the first 10 days of the launch. That's according to Counterpoint Research. The flagship series has driven demand in China because it features, a faster chip, better display, larger storage, and upgraded selfie camera at the same price as the 16. This has resulted in overall sellouts to rise by nearly 33%, with consumer demand for the base model nearly doubling compared to the iPhone 16. Let me tell you something. If the demand for this new phone is much higher than the 16 was last year, I absolutely see Apple trading above 300 next year at some point. I can't tell you when, especially if we get a market pullback early in the year, which some people are forecasting. I don't know if I'm there yet, but I'm telling you, if this phone really puts out if this phone really has better order and sales numbers than the 16, this is going higher. Looks like the data print is out here. S&P futures pumping to the highs here. ES up now 0.77%. Boy, that's a big power candle there. Let me just finish this off. I got one more thing to mention here. Wedbush analyst Dan Ives attributes the strong iPhone demand globally and further improvement in China's market as a key theme for Apple's growth. Loop Capital analyst Ananda Barua, hope I pronounced that one right, who boosted Apple stock from hold to buy, sees the start of a multi-year iPhone growth cycle, expecting demand to rise through 2027. Let me go back to Pro here. And let me go to the page that has all the data prints in here. U.S. CPI year over year for September, 3% versus the 3.1% estimate. And the CPI month over month for September, 0.3 versus the 0.4 estimate. Both of those numbers coming in lower than the expectation. Market going north. NASDAQ leading the way higher here. Big pop in the NQ. That's up over 1% here in the pre-market.